So guys, there's a weapon in this game. It's the shield. It's called the Shield of Chaos, and it is friggin' awesome. I was kicking so much ass with this weapon last night. Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Hades for the PC. This title was sent to me by Supergiant Games so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it. And if you were watching the Game Awards live with me over on Twitch, you might have noticed that I was particularly excited about the announcement of this game because this is a new title from the makers of Bastion and Transistor, which are two titles that I greatly enjoyed. But then I was also hit with a moment of hesitation over the fact that this game is, in fact, in early access, and with me and early access, what tends to happen is I tend to burn out before the game really hits its stride. So I try to avoid early access games as much as I can, but at the same time, it's a new game from the makers of Bastion and Transistor. I basically had to check it out. There was no choice there whatsoever. So I guess we can get started by talking about the visuals. The art style looks gorgeous. They are really good at doing this isometric art style in their video games. We've seen it in Bastion, we've seen it in Transistor, and this one seems like a bit of a mesh of both. Soundtrack is also solid, which is something that we've come to expect from Supergiant Games. I mean, I personally still listen to the Bastion soundtrack on a regular basis as well as Transistor. So it really comes as no surprise that I enjoyed this one as much as I did. As a matter of fact, I would recommend you guys to at least check it out. Even if you don't check out the game itself, like go to the Supergiant Games channel, check out the soundtrack. They've uploaded, I think, all of it, if not most of it, for free, so you can just listen to it. The game itself revolves around you, who are the son of Hades, trying to escape the domain of your father, and naturally, your father doesn't want you to leave his domain. The story is revealed as you play, and you do multiple runs throughout the game, because this is a roguelike game, so it's going to involve quite a bit of repetition. It's also something that this particular studio hasn't really tackled with before. I mean, they've done the whole isometric action game thing, but they haven't really done it in a roguelike sense. And as a matter of fact, I don't even tend to play that many roguelikes. I'm very selective about the roguelikes that I do play. But I gotta tell you guys, I had a good feeling about this game, and I'm glad that I gave it a shot because I greatly enjoyed my time with it. So, as you guys can see, every room that you enter in this gameplay that you are watching is going to be procedurally generated. So no true run is going to be the same. Stuff constantly changes, but not just the layouts of the levels change. Also, the different boons that you can get throughout the levels are going to change as well. You'll be able to get boons from the gods of Olympus. So you're talking about Athena, you're talking about Zeus, Poseidon. And as you get these different boons, they will enhance your character in different ways. But that only lasts for each of the runs, which basically is going to ensure that you will require different playstyles depending on the boons that you get and the boons that you select. Because it's not like, oh, I found the Zeus thing, I get the Zeus buff. No, each of these boons usually gives you a choice of 3 things, which you can use to power up your special attack, which in the case of the weapon that I'm using, which is the Chaos Shield, is actually a shield throw, Captain America style. Or you can power up your basic attack, which is a shield slam in this case. Yeah, shield slam. Freaking love it. Or you can even empower your dodge, which is also really good. As a matter of fact, one of the best things in the game, in my opinion, one of the most powerful boons is Athena's boon to your dash, which essentially makes it deflect stuff. So not only you get a certain amount of invincibility frames for using your dash, at the same time you also get to deflect stuff while you're using your dash. It just makes it really, really powerful in my opinion. But anyway, there are 4 weapons at your disposal from what I've played so far. I mean, I'm assuming you can unlock more because there's definitely space for more weapons in the place where you unlock weapons and stuff. The very first weapon you start with is the sword. Then you have at your disposal a bow, as well as a shield and a spear. As you guys can see, I'm playing with the shield because you guys know me. I'm an Iron Breaker. I'm a sucker for shields, and I'm really, really enjoying playing with the shield. As a matter of fact, so much that I think that the live stream that I did last night, some of the developers might have been watching. They were like, okay, dude, this shield is way too powerful. And they nerfed the shield immediately after my live stream. I was like, what the hell? It might be a coincidence, but the second I stopped live streaming, I received a message from Kegger. He's like, dude, they just nerfed shield. And I was like, what? I mean, the weapon is so much fun. Why would you do that? But I'm happy to say that the weapon is still very much viable. It is just going to require you to chase after the Athena's boons more often so that you get more defensive bonuses for the shield and stuff. And And that's the thing about it. So there are certain things in the game that allow you to have a permanent sense of progression, like you can upgrade your dash so that you can dash twice in rapid succession. You can also upgrade this skill that enables you to deal more damage when you attack from behind. You can upgrade a skill that gives you more casts on your one ranged attack that you have. And basically there's that kind of like progression, but ultimately those things, they don't change that much in your playstyle. They're just like upgrades. Your playstyle is going to vary depending, in my opinion, on the boons that you encounter throughout each of the runs that you do. The more runs that you do, the more things you start unlocking. Eventually, you'll start finding this thing called, what is it? The Ambrosia. It's a little orange potion, and you can gift that to NPCs that you meet throughout the game, and they will give you a piece of gear that you can equip before you head out, which is again going to influence your playstyle depending on the pieces of gear that you have. The one that I'm using on the run that you guys are seeing is a piece of gear that actually gives me a 1% chance of finding a healing item whenever I break the multiple destructible things in this scenario. And you guys are like, really? 1% chance of finding a healing item? Yes, healing is very much a luxury in this game. It is extremely limited, so you have to be really careful. You have to be extremely skilled at how you play the game in order to further progress into the game, because if you don't properly manage your health pool, you're going to find yourself dying quite often. And whenever you die, you basically go back to the domain of Hades, all the way back to Hades' main hall, and then Hades makes fun of you for not being able to leave his domain and discourages you and tells you you're never going to be able to leave. And then there's a couple of interesting NPCs there as well. I particularly like Dusa, but I'm not going to give you a lot more details about that. I thought that Dusa was a cool little touch with all the NPCs that are available to you. But you can also give the Ambrosia to the gods themselves to earn their favor. I don't know exactly how the reputation system kind of works, but I do know that you develop some form of reputation with the gods as you give them more and more Ambrosia. I don't know what the long-term effects of that are. I know that in the short term, you usually get a trinket. That trinket changes the way that you can play the game, but ultimately, it feels really satisfying. Like the moment-to-moment gameplay. I mean, I've just been playing with the shield. I'll be completely honest, because you guys know me. I'm a sucker for shields. I love shields, and I feel that there's not enough games that do justice to a character actually using a shield as a weapon. And this one is definitely one of those games. You can do charge attacks, you can throw your shield, you can smash people into walls. And that's the other thing. That's the other really cool thing that I liked, is the fact that, you know, some of your attacks will have knockback effects. And as such, you'll be able to knock monsters back into walls. And that is actually something that will trigger, you know, additional things. Like you might have a certain boon that whenever you slam someone into a wall, they can get stunned, or if you slam someone into a wall, they can take additional damage. You will also be able to reflect certain attacks, and there's then boons that allow you to, once you reflect, the attack deals a crap ton more damage back to its attacker. So there's a lot of interesting things that take place on each of the runs. But ultimately, it is still in early access, so I can understand if a lot of you guys are hesitant about it. What I can tell you is I've had a lot of fun, and when it comes to roguelikes, this is definitely one of the roguelikes that I really enjoyed. And there's, you know, there's some roguelikes that I've played in the past, and I've enjoyed them and whatnot, but this one really stands out. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Hades. I can't wait to see more about it. A really cool thing as well is if you go to the main menu of the game, they will actually tell you when the next content drop is happening. So I believe as of this video's recording, 37 days from now, they will be dropping more content into the game. And it seems like they are committed to always announcing this stuff publicly in the launcher so that you always know, okay, so I've experienced the content now, and they will tell you, okay, then you maybe want to come back in a couple of days and see what else we have to offer. Now, I didn't finish, I didn't even get that far into the run. I would say that I've defeated what I would consider to be one of the major bosses, which is one of the three Furies. And after I defeated her, I went on a run that was actually going really, really well, because like I told you, there's this, there's that deflection thing that you can do on your dash with Athena's boon, and I was able to get that early on, and I was really able to progress a ton through the game. And on that run, I actually went pretty far, and as I went further and further, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is getting completely insane to the point where I could barely plan what attacks I was going to do. I was just playing defensive the whole time. I don't think I was supposed to get as far as I did on that one run, but it was cool to see that, you know, if you are able to properly do your build, and if you're able to recognize the enemy patterns and all of that stuff, you can get really far despite maybe not being entirely ready for the content that lies ahead, because I did get pretty damn far. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it. Let me know what you guys think about Hades. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit it up with a like button. If you guys are new here, subscribe. And remember, you can always hit the bell notification icon so that you actually get notified whenever I release a new video. Here's 2 video suggestions that you guys might enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.